Good morning. Welcome to Express Meditation. Um, Last week we meditated on the seeing all sentient beings as being our mother, developing this concept of rebirth, and that every mind, every animal, every sentient being was at one time in this um, stream of consciousness, our mother. And today we'll look at the kindness mostly demonstrated by the mother, trying to develop this understanding and kindness of other sentient beings. So we make sure that we're in a comfortable position, just checking our posture. And become aware of our breath, bringing our mind inward or inside. Just observe the breath out. The inhale, it fills the body, it fills the lungs, uh, the torso expands. And then when we exhale, the air leaves the lungs, gets pushed out, and the torso contracts. So there's a expansion and contraction. So we can just watch this expansion contraction for a moment, not thinking about anything else, not getting distracted, just watching. Bring our attention to um, our motivation. Why are we here today? Why are we meditating? And when we bring to mind our intention to develop our minds, to become better people, to be more kind to others, to reduce our selfish attitude. And ultimately to reach enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings, and not just for our own self-liberation, but for the liberation of all beings that are circulating in samsara and suffering. So with this meditation, we want to bring to mind remembering the kindness of all those sentient beings. But that's not so easy. We have to generate it. We have to work on it. So to generate this compassion and the and this energy to go through difficulties for their sake. So a child who recognizes the kindness of the mother, for example, will do whatever he can to please the mother. If we dislike our mother, of course, the meditation will be difficult. So we look at it like this: at the beginning of our life, our mother kept us in her womb, and she kept us for the duration and cared for us those 9 months. And during that time, the she carried us and cared for us like a precious jewel, holding, protecting, and avoiding any um, behavior that would harm us. So, for example, she would only eat food that was good and healthy for the baby and avoid other foods. So when we look at it like this, she put away her desires for our benefit, making sacrifices. So just think about that for a moment. These 9 months, um, the caring and the kindness and the sacrifice our mother must have taken so that we're born. And that was just for those 9 months. So there's this complete caring for another being at that time. Because if there was neglect, then we wouldn't have survived. And some people in our uh, Western culture, they say that there's no kindness involved um, in a mother keeping her child in the womb, giving birth to it, taking care of it when it's born, because they call it the mother's responsibility. They don't call it kindness. So although it was her responsibility, there are so many that don't accept it. And if our mother didn't take care of us, we'd probably be dead by now. Therefore, our mother did have kindness for us and had kindness in carrying out their responsibility of being a mother. So if we think about it for a moment, was it responsibility? Was it kindness? How can we perceive that today, sitting here with a life? So if we go all the way back to this moment when we were born in this life, for example, we're just this tiny lump of flesh, completely helpless, very delicate, very sensitive. And if we were left for, say, an hour alone in the cold without clothing, we would have certainly not made it. But perhaps we think that the staff in the hospital and the maternity hospital and the ward, um, that they did more to help us just after we were born than our mother did. Maybe we think that, but in most our numberless rebirths, right? Not just this life, going back. We've been entirely dependent on our mothers. So even beside uh, her kindness of keeping us well when we were very young, even our present activities such as study or trying to practice the Dharma, these depend on uh, they depend on our mother's kindness. But we find it hard to recollect this kindness because we're always involved in busy activity and we don't really notice what really happened to us. So it's accepted in Buddhism that we have not been born only as humans, but as animals or many other types of beings. And it's not a belief, it's a fact. And these animal mothers, they're very, very, very kind to their offspring. Maybe you've seen um, birds laying eggs, and the eggs are about to hatch, and then they do hatch. And even when they're just eggs, the the mother bird is protecting those eggs. And when they hatch, continues to protect them. And sometimes you'll see a bigger bird or a bigger animal that's much bigger than the bird trying to attack the newly born birds. And the mother bird, doesn't matter the size of the attacker, the mother bird is defending without fear because the mother has so much love and compassion for her newly born babies. So, just thinking about this, we shouldn't see the kindness of animals and their young as something that's completely unconnected to us, but we should see it as something that um, we too have experienced in this life and in past lives, whether we are human or non-human or birds or bears. Because in numberless lives, we've been born as animals, and we were cared for by our mother. So it's just the same. So we can see that these animals and their mothers in general, they show this great kindness. They show that they're more concerned with the sickness of their young children than their own sickness. And when we think about um, humans, if children are behaving well and they're successful and doing well at school, then the mother is very pleased and happy. But if they behave badly and they don't study, they don't do well in school, then she's very concerned. And it's not for her own sake, right? It's thinking of the future welfare of her children. But there's many of us that we can't remember our mother's kindness. And um, just remember being treated badly by our mother. And they don't have any good feelings or like for their mothers. And that might be true. That mothers have also mistreated us sometimes. But when we're trying to generate compassion, we have to look past those misdeeds and look at the positive relationship with our mother. And this is the true relationship. So we have to look past these faults that appear to our eyes, pay attention to the good qualities of our mother, that mm, they did care for us, nurtured us, gave birth to us, protected us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. And when we connect this with our last meditation, that all sentient beings have been our mother, then we can see that this kindness is with everyone. We have a nurturing kind of relationship with every single sentient being through this time and space. But we have a limited view in a very narrow range of time right now. But since beginningless time, we've continually been helped by other sentient beings. And in the future, until we attain uh, liberation and freedom from samsara, uh, we'll continue to be the receiver of this kindness. And we have to um, depend on other sentient beings to help us solve our problems. And if we investigate, we can see this kindness in other sentient beings in many situations. For example, the clothing that I'm wearing right now results from the kindness of many, many, many beings. So it's a very warming feeling to think that we've received kindness in previous lives and we'll uh, continue to receive this kindness into the future. And all of our practice and progress towards liberation, towards enlightenment, it completely depends on others. That's the bodhicitta. Since all the practices are based on others. So we can we can think that all these sentient beings are like a staircase to enlightenment. And we can bring to mind a Shantideva quote. It says, when Buddha qualities are accomplished through sentient beings and conquerors alike, how can I not respect the beings just as I do the conquerors? And so we dedicate all the merits that we've created during this meditation, generating a mind of kindness towards all sentient beings. May they not suffer. May they achieve enlightenment quickly. May all of our teachers be with us for limitless lifetimes. and lead us along the path to enlightenment. And may all the sentient beings that are suffering right now in this world, may their suffering stop as quickly as possible and never return. Thank you.
Thanks for this beautiful